almost the history of GSN failing once, and it was that panic of this outside influence is going to repeat itself. I'm going to be back to square one, and at this point you're 7-8 years in, and I'm thinking surely this can't happen again. And it's a really difficult position to be in because it does feel like a gamble. You haven't got this safety net of an investment portfolio or somebody else that can front that cash. You've got to pay for the mortgage at the end of the day. You've got to look after a new family, and that is it's like a brave risk I think that you've got to take as an entrepreneur. Through school, real sporty kid, absolutely loved anything to do with sports. Was interested in academics, wanted to do well in school, but I was also someone that wanted to be friends with the cool kids that didn't want to necessarily do well at school. So I sort of had that struck that balance of both. Finished with triple distinction and then went to university to study business enterprise.
It didn't work out. He passed his first year, but he said, oh, this isn't for me. It was just ridiculous, you know, the time that they spent with the lecturers, and they didn't ask enough of them. It wasn't demanding enough for Craig. So Steve said, well, I'm very happy for you to learn the business.
He was getting frustrated because he wasn't learning as quick as he wanted to. Talking away from his course, he could learn more by coming in the office and seeing what was going on than he could on his course. And a lot of things he was learning in uni, he couldn't really apply until he got into a proper job.
9 or 10 months there, I was talking to the teacher, and I just really asked her this straight question, that if we've got the opportunity of going and working for the family business, which was meat trading, should I be doing that? So that's what I decided to do after 12 months, dropped out of university, went to work for my dad.
I got Craig involved in the meat trade, took him to Spain. We represented one of the largest businesses over there called Costa Brava. They were processing 60,000 pigs a week. Just like I had to do, I thought Craig had to get in the deep end, so he had to go around the slaughterhouse. That wasn't a pleasant experience. Then we bumped into one of my customers in a Chinese restaurant, and he brought out this
product called steam-cooked chicken. What I couldn't understand was that a restaurant could have this pre-cooked chicken and was going to make their life a lot easier because it could just take all of the time away from cooking.
And Craig, instantly, it was like a light bulb moment, realised that, wow, this could really be easy for students. And that was probably the moment when he realised there was something to do here in the sports nutrition, using a product that we could get our hands on.
I asked for some samples, I took it to some friends, took it to some gym owners, and was like, would you eat this? Because I think it's a really good product. And the feedback was exactly the same. It was, yeah, this would change my life. It'd make things so much easier. You were solving a problem and offering a solution to that problem that a lot of people face. That was the light bulb moment for me. I had no idea how big or where GSM could go from that, but it gave me enough confidence that there was some potential in it. Early 2012, London Olympics was happening. We managed to secure the freezers that we were 10 freezers that were being used at the London Olympics, then being sold on eBay, pretty much brand new. Bought a Tesco truck that was decommissioned, still restricted to 56 mile an hour, which I never turned off. Taught myself how to wrap freezers, so I vinyl wrapped these white freezers into GSM branded freezers.
We all sat as a family, mainly me, Steve and Craig, sticking the stickers on the gold bags, which seemed like forever. So Craig would phone and say, we've got loads of bags to do, we've got loads of orders, can I bring them round? And it was almost like a competition of who was the best at the sponge and smoothing out the label on the gold bags.
I would buy a plain gold bag, I'd then have stickers, vinyl stickers, a bit of fairy liquid and a ruler, and I'd be applying these stickers to the vinyl bags. I used to sticker up a few hundred bags a day. I would then take the truck from Selby, drive it over to Manchester. In Manchester, I'd pick up 225 bags of chicken. It was a delivery route of delivering the stock to the existing estate and then trying to find 3 new stockists and go and place those freezers on the road. It'd be anywhere from sort of 12 to 16, 18-hour days. It didn't really matter because I sort of knew I was building something. Every new gym that I set up was another addition to the milk round, and I wanted to sort of build that estate. I basically lived at home and didn't need to pay myself any money. It was more just reinvesting all of that back into GSN. So, and then it was just hard miles and a lot of visits into gyms. So we were the first company to ever put food into gyms. Not all gym owners paid the bills, unfortunately. So it was hard lessons of cash flow and how cash flow is king in a business, especially a bootstrap business.
Quite early on in our relationship, when we were actually living together, it was actually not going well at that point. I remember him sort of having a bit of a meltdown.
Trusted the wrong people when we got into some relationships with larger businesses that wanted to sort of eat up GSN.
The guys who ran it were marketing specialists, threw a lot of money at the job, got their audience together very quickly and started to look at what we were doing, which was more B2B than B2C. And we said we'd have a conversation with them and see if we could join forces, which seemed like a good idea, but really all they were looking to do was pinch our ideas. And
I don't think he realised how cutthroat the business world can be.
Back in 2015, I had to make all 7 members of the team redundant. So I would have been 23, and that was incredibly hard, really sort of emotional, and made me debate whether or not it's worth it, because I really felt like I was a failure. I felt like I'd let everybody else down. Looking at it 3-4 years of building GSN, we built this goodwill, we built GSN. I wish I'd had more trust that GSN would survive even against the big boys, because it was sort of the hardest lesson then, and probably the biggest setback for GSN is also what set the standard going forward, because it meant that we could bring gyms into paying up front, and we're able to have a restart of doing GSN again. Now we've got 3-4 years experience.
And then COVID hit.
The government has issued a stark warning that we are at a tipping point on
COVID-19. CO for corona, Vi for virus, D for disease, and 19 because it started last year.
And we've got a business that's B2B, supplying gyms, supplement shops, all the places that generally shut.
That's 80% of the business at that point. We were a wholesale focused business and trading just through gyms and the freezers.
First of all, it was like, whoa, this is not going to be good for us.
It was stick or twist moment for us.
And that's where like a massive pivot was needed. We had a couple of like scary months working like mad, trying to figure out everything that we could do to shuffle our operations around to support the direct to consumer offering. Luckily, over that 2-year period, we had like a focus on the operations side and being able to be in the right place, so that if we do grow, it's covered. We have all the right processes set up. If we doubled in size, we had a picking team that could handle it. We had like automated processes that could streamline that, receiving orders, picking them, caps in place so that the picking team weren't overwhelmed if there was a surge.
But it actually pivoted and was incredible for us, and everyone needed frozen food. They were all worrying that supermarkets were going to run out. Everyone wanted to stay healthy.
Everyone during COVID was then looking at their health and the health focus of eating better and trying to sort of live a healthier lifestyle to fight a disease that we weren't sure what that was.
A month or two it was pretty scary, and then we saw that shift of like direct to consumer overtake wholesale for the first time. We were like, okay, this is interesting. We've got a different angle and something different to work at, and a completely different business really at that point.
We had a little like study set up in one of the little bedrooms, and I remember him just watching YouTube videos, figuring out how to use Photoshop, which he'd never done before.
And what could I create that is relevant and that I can also realistically go and create myself as sort of an unskilled Photoshopper.
Craig focused massively on like brand identity, how the brand looked, how the product looked, and like really developed something that could fit on any shelf, any freezer in the UK.
And the small profits that we were making at that point, and redistributed back into like paid ads with no certainty of sort of like what that could look like.
it was a leap of faith in terms of putting some money into social and advertising spend. I think we put £10,000 in. We thought we'd never really done it before, and it instantly worked.
May was our first month where e-com was trading more than what wholesale did. We really had that like real lifting moment where we're onto something here and we should double down on this. That gamble really paid off for us because COVID provided that platform for us to go and really scale up the business. It was hard because it was just relentless graft. And like I say, I've got friends that were going, "Are you coming out for a game of golf, or we're doing this or we're doing that," and it felt like I was missing out on something that everyone else was enjoying, but I needed to double down and lock in on this opportunity.
That's when we proved that, you know, we are a very important part of what people's lives should be. You know, everyone should be eating and thinking of health and convenience, and not just rocking up to McDonald's for a blooming drive-through just because the cat has to cook.
Healthy eating shouldn't be restricted to just someone that goes to the gym or someone that's into bodybuilding. Healthy eating should be our mums, our dads, our brothers, our sisters, our teachers, the police officers, NHS workers, people that are leading busy lifestyles and are looking for a healthy alternative. GSN can now provide that. You know, we supply military, we supply police, we supply garage forecourts, convenience retail, still all of the gyms, NHS hospitals, we've spread ourselves to be able to put the product where people need it most.
I probably was a little bit more yo-yo, where I'd eat really well Monday to Friday and then maybe fall off the wagon a little bit more on a Saturday, Sunday, versus where I wanted to be. You don't have to be like that with GSN. The way that I don't have to worry about what I've got in the freezer because I know I'm going to have something I can have after training. When I work full time, I sometimes catch up on my train on a weekend. So even then I want to make sure that I'm eating the right things. And in those 2 years I'm not allowing it all to GSN, but I have got stronger and I have been consistently progressing. And I think part of that is training, but can't out-train a poor diet either. Having it there conveniently, quickly, is definitely the one thing that keeps me consistent.
Our mission is to make healthy eating more accessible, more affordable and more enjoyable to everybody. And when you take that into the market and try and spread that mission, it becomes more than just food, because we're trying to fuel people's healthy lifestyles. And if we can fuel your healthy lifestyle, that means that more people are leading healthy lives.
We offer the whole package, but the fact that it's just a convenient, healthy meal all in one that you can just slot into your day, that takes 6 minutes of your day up rather than a whole scenario of cooking and shopping and what have you. That's where we are the best at what we do, because that's what GSN is. We are convenient food for every single person going. You don't have to be a gym goer to eat GSN.
Being able to give people the confidence back, whether we've helped you on a weight loss journey, whether we've helped you claim time back, or just offer you the education of sort of what healthy eating is, that you can just trust GSN's products. You can put one in the microwave knowing that that is a healthy, balanced, ready meal.
An absolutely fantastic day in Bristol. So we tried 13 different meals from 8 different street food vendors. We tried everything from Sri Lankan, Lebanese, Himalayan, Spanish, Malaysian, Vietnamese, Mexican, and it was all incredible. The flavors were amazing, some huge inspirations and some future GSN flavors. So we've got to get to work now on looking at that inspiration and how we can put our high protein, low sugar GSN twist on it. So yeah, looking forward to it, and a great day spent at Bristol Street Food Market.
So we make everything in the UK. We have 3 manufacturers. They're all BRC grade A, which is like where you would look at your supermarket certification and standard. We make them all in the UK because we want to make them by hand. We want to hand fill them, and we can focus on the flavour first. So all the sauce would be made on site, all the rice would be made on site, and we bread all the chicken. We can then use a lot of brat pans, a lot of kettles, a lot of home cooking methods that you would use in your own home, but scaled up to a capacity where we can be doing 8,000 meals in a morning and 8,000 meals sort of in an afternoon shift. We make them like we do because we want to focus on like the quality of the ingredients and simmering through that flavour, so that we could just go and find a manufacturer that can deposit every ingredient, but you're not getting that same home cooking element and that same focus on flavour that way. Comparably to the supermarket brands, we do make them more similar to how you would expect a fresh ready meal prep to make our food, but then blast freeze them at the end and lock in all of that goodness and do it just on scale.
When you see the back end of everything, you forget how the brand is coming across to everyone else. It's those little moments where you'll just be in a random place and you'll see a GSN box get delivered. Or in the old days, it was someone had walked past in the street wearing a GSN t-shirt, and it's like, oh, yeah, we're actually doing it.
We've just got massive. We are massive. And people say to me all the time, bloody hell, GSN are everywhere at the minute, aren't they? I've seen you guys everywhere at the minute. And it's like, yeah, and you feel like a famous person.
The brand mission is to be the best loved healthy frozen food brand in the UK. That doesn't necessarily mean that we are selling the most meals. It means that we want to be the best across customer service, quality, packaging, consistency, trust and like nutritional sort of accountability.
For me, the brand has never lost that family feel to it that Craig's worked really hard to keep. You know, Northern brand, Yorkshire brand, I love that about it. More recently, I've really enjoyed seeing the day-to-day in my life, you know, like the mums, the busy mums on the school runs, or people that work full-time and then try and train after. I think it's relatable for a lot of people. You don't have to be somebody that's aiming to go to the CrossFit Games to need to fuel your life properly. You can be that person that just needs to save half an hour somewhere and doesn't want to cook.
And also champion frozen. It's a gap for us, but it's also very efficient, less wasteful way to store and deliver food. And again, like using that sort of USP or brand USP to continue to develop and hopefully lead the way in the UK food market.
The legacy I'd like to leave behind, I'd love my kids to one day run GSN and be involved in GSN. Built GSN from the ground up, and that I want to be able to inspire others. A normal lad that went to a normal school in Barnby, did it with very little investment, and has done it sort of just by hard work. Resilience and sort of refusal to fail is something that I think should and hopefully will be the sort of legacy of GSN, and I'd like people to know the story, know how we've done it, and share in our passion to be the leading UK healthy frozen food brand, because we want to make healthy eating accessible, affordable and enjoyable by as many people as possible.